Before we begin, I just want to acknowledge that I'm currently seated on the land of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Squamish nations. This land is their traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory. I know that many of you are on the land of other nations, so if you like, please put those nation names in the chat. Always let us remember our connection to our siblings in these nations and pray for the day in which we might be together in right relationship. Welcome. Welcome to Living Interfaith. Know that the whole of you is welcome here. You're not asked to leave who you are in your own homes. Please bring who you are in with you to this community today. But what you are asked to remember is that the others here today have brought in who they are to this community as well. And all of goodwill are welcome. And now we'll join together for our opening song.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again come. Come, whoever you are, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come yet again come.
So we have a few interfaith announcements this morning, not a lot. It's summertime, so things have slowed down a bit. But our Circle of Sanctuary is ongoing. So we are holding those on the second and fourth Saturdays of each month. Doralee and I are taking turns facilitating those, and it's a time to come together and contemplate what we've learned during the services, to meditate together, to see what joint wisdom arises from our time together. So those have been really beautiful and nourishing times for those of us who have shown up those days, and we encourage all of you to come when you're able. And then I just want to let you know that we're planning a ceremony of belonging, which will take place on August 9th at Jericho Beach. Very excited about this. So it's going to involve the elements of earth, air, water, and fire. People will be invited to walk a labyrinth in the sand, to write down things they want to release and let them go to the fire, to breathe deeply of the ocean air, and then to either be immersed in the ocean or to receive an anointing of ocean water. And then we're going to also invite Siddika, if you want to come, you're welcome. We're inviting faith leaders from all different traditions to come and offer individual or group blessings as well. So it's going to be a way to just connect with the earth, each other, and also receive blessings and offer blessings to one another. So I think it will be a really beautiful time together. I've already received interest from friends of mine who aren't really necessarily part of any religious community, but want to participate in this because we all need to feel more connected. So hope you can join us for that. We're really looking forward to it. Are there any other announcements this morning?
Yes, I have an announcement. So this last week, some folks from the Sikh faith reached out to me to invite me to this Humility, Kindness, and Love conference. It's going to be taking place in Abbotsford. It'll be at the Abbotsford Center on Saturday, August 2nd. It's an all-day event, free food. There'll be 10 speakers. I'm one of the speakers, actually. They estimate there'll be 7,000 people, which I have to say is quite intimidating as a speaker. But they're asking us to let everyone know about it. It's open to everybody, and they're still trying to get the word out about it. So if anyone's interested, please let us know. We'll put it on. We have a WhatsApp group that Samir started, where we let folks know about events. But if anyone wants to carpool with us, I'm hoping Rachel can come with me and maybe Dorley. And if anyone else wants to carpool to Abbotsford together, be super fun.
If you, for those of you who are interested in being added to that WhatsApp group, just message me your phone number while during the service, and I will add you. And it's for those who are in Vancouver. We don't have WhatsApp groups for those who are in other areas yet.
But if you want to start one, by all means.
Great. So if that's all the announcements today, I'm going to ask you to come together for our opening prayer. And this is, I'm going to play the first 2 minutes of the Ziyarat Ashura. So we're going to listen to that together. And there's an English translation as well.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله السلام عليك يا خيرة الله وابن خيرته السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة سيدة نساء العالمين السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار يا أبا عبد الله لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها.
And now Doralia is going to offer our opening or candle lighting prayer.
Yes, thank you. See if I can angle this down. You can see the light.
Video settings. Okay.
O Lord, I depend on you in every affliction and am hopeful of your blessing in every hardship. In every difficulty with which I am faced, you are my only remedy and resort. There have been many embarrassments which weakened my heart, and no remedy for it was available. The friends did not assist me, and the enemies rejoiced at my misfortune. However, when I ceased to seek assistance from everyone except you, and sought the remedy only from you, you provided me with solace and relief and removed the difficulty. Every blessing and goodness reaches us from you, and everything should be sought from you only. This supplication from Imam Hussein on the morning of Ashura.
Thank you, Doralie. Now, please feel free to unmute yourselves and offer each other a sign of peace. Peace, everyone.
Peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace. Peace to all.
Peace,
Peace, everyone.
Blah, blah, blah.
Peace be with you. peace and love to all.
When they're ready, Bruce and Cheryl have another song for us.
Subhanallah, 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 Subhanallah,
So beautiful. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to invite you to join me in reading our joint affirmation. We come together in peace. We sing together in joy and with love. We worship together in one house, a house with names beyond number. Our paths are many, our beliefs are as leaves, and the tree that we cleave to is nourished by the light of compassion, justice, and mutual respect. May our lives, our beliefs, and our actions help to bring about the world of love we all seek, and let it begin here. So now I'm going to invite you to join me in some guided meditation and prayer. So I'll ask you just to get comfortable in your seat. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And if not, you can look at a spot on the floor or in the distance. We roll back your shoulders a few times. We hold so much tension in our shoulders. Feel your feet on the ground and the way the ground is holding us through all the many forms of chaos and change and upheaval that we experience in our daily lives, and that has been common in the world for years and years before us and will be for years and years after us. I invite you to join me in taking some deep breaths. So breathe in through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds and let it out through your mouth. In through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds and out through your mouth. And one more time, in through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds and out through your mouth. And as you come to rest here, together with other members of the community, feel that you're held by each other, you're held by the other people here today who share your vision for a better world. And you're held by the natural world too, by the trees that give us the air to breathe, the water that nourishes us, the ground on which we walk. We're never alone, no matter how hard things might seem or how many struggles we encounter. We always have the wider world and each other to support us. So from this place of connection and groundedness, I invite you to pray for whatever's on your hearts this morning. Thank you. When they're ready, Bruce and Cheryl have another song for us.
Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'an wa rizqan tayyiban wa amalan mutakabbalan wa amalan mutakabbalan wa amalan mutakabbalan.
Thank you so much. That was so lovely. Just gonna stop our recording. So now I'm going to invite you to participate in sharing our wealth. As you know, our community entirely relies on donations to subsist, and these go toward paying our new managing director, Kaya Younger, who's been a wonderful addition to our team, as well as our speakers and our musicians and our Zoom account and the little things that keep us going. So I'll put a link in the chat where you can find different ways to donate. And now Bruce and Cheryl have another song for us.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
So now it's my joy and honor to welcome our speaker today, Siddika Jessa. Siddika was born in East Africa into a Muslim family from a Khoja Shia Ithna Ashari. She moved to Pakistan as a refugee, where she witnessed the Indo-Pakistan War. Her teenage years were in London, UK, and in her 20s, she married and moved to Canada. A mother to 3 boys, she now lives in South Surrey with her husband and enjoys time with her adult children. By day, Siddika leads an IT service organization called TLD, which is a corporate division of London Drugs. As a volunteer, Siddika is the founder of widerlens.ca, a professional speaker and certified facilitator in emotional intelligence. Siddika lives amongst the Khoja Shia Muslim community in Vancouver, who mourn the great sacrifice of Imam Hussein that took place in 680 CE, and which still reverberates through the hearts of believers today. She'll provide us with the history behind the sacrifice and what it means to the believers of Hussein today. So over to you, Siddika.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Rachel. And first of all, I want to thank Kathy for thinking of me and inviting me. It's been a while since we connected, but I'm really, really honored to be here amongst all of you. And so far, I have really just loved the service so far. It's heartwarming. And then, seeing some of the verses, subhanallah, and all the different ones has really warmed my heart. So I guess I hadn't been in touch for a while, and just rekindled me that I need to be more part of this. So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. I believe there's a coincidence in this world, and things happen for a reason, and I guess I needed this. So thank you so much, Kathy, and thanks for the introduction. So I'd like to share my presentation, and I'll start talking about Hussein. So if let me just do that. And let me know when you're able to see my screen. All right. Can you all see my screen? Ah, lovely. Okay. So I'm going to take you through a journey to Hussein, which many of us call him Imam Hussein. And really, Imam Hussein just means that it's a leader, right? So someone that we follow. So it's not anything specific, it's just a title. So that's what it is. So, and the day of Ashura, what it means, and trying to bring some relevance. So I'm going to go through a bit of an agenda to show you how this is going to go. because I want to create an Abrahamic connection to Prophet Muhammad and Imam Hussein. And who is Hussein? What was his sacrifice and why? And why do we still commemorate? Why do we still remember him? It's 1400 years ago. And the 7 lessons we learned from this sacrifice, and then I'm happy to take any questions afterwards, because I'm part of a community where I go every night. And in fact, after this service, I will be going to the mosque to listen to a speaker, a woman's gathering. So a little about talking about the Abrahamic connection here. So in order to do that, we need to see the journey of Abraham. And Abraham's journey, when he was born in Ur, which is Mesopotamia, now known as Iraq. So that's where Prophet Ibrahim was born. We call him Ibrahim in the Muslim tradition, known in Abraham in others. He then journeyed to Haran in Turkey, and then from there, at the age of 75, he moved to Canaan, I think it is. Canaan is how it's pronounced, which is present-day Palestine. So Prophet Ibrahim had 2 sons. The first one was named Ishmael, and Ishmael was born in Canaan, which is present-day Palestine. His mother was Hagar, and in our tradition, we call her Hajara. He then went to, so Hajar was an Ethiopian slave, which was given to him through his wife, is the one who picked that slave. So, and because his wife, Sarah, could not conceive at that time. And Ishmael is considered the ancestor of the Arab tribes. So that's where the Arab lineage come from. And Prophet Muhammad is lineage through Ishmael. So Ibrahim, with his son Ishmael and Hagar or Hajra, moved to Mecca. So if you guys know about Mecca, where a lot of the Muslims go for pilgrimage, and Abraham built the house of God in Mecca, now known as the Kaaba, where many Muslims go for pilgrimage, right? So Muslims really honor this pilgrimage. And one of the things that happened with Hajra and with Ishmael, when Hajra was looking in the desert, looking for water for her son, Ishmael, Ishmael was basically, he was a baby, kind of, his feet were hitting the ground. And by doing that, a spring of water came out of there. And that's all around Makkah as well. And today that water spring is still running, called Zamzam. And when Muslims go for pilgrimage, they actually relive that running of Hajar from back and forth, trying to find water for her child, Ishmael. So some of the relevance from Prophet Ibrahim comes to Ishmael. The second son was born, and this is a really miraculous, and I think a lot of you probably already know maybe, his son Isaac. Ishaq is how we call him. Was then born to mother Sarah at the age of 90. And at the time, Prophet Ibrahim was 100 years old. And this story is seen as a miracle of faith, as she conceived Isaac, despite being barren for most of her life. And the descendants of Isaac include Prophet Noah, Prophet Moses, and Jesus. So that's where that lineage comes from. So that's how we see the Abrahamic religions emerge. Now let's go on to talk about Hussein and how is he connected to all of this. So Hussein was the grandson of Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad none of his sons survived, Prophet Muhammad's sons, and his lineage extends to his daughter Fatima. Fatima married Ali, Imam Ali, which Shias, a lot of us call him Imam Ali as the first Imam, and also the fourth caliph She married Ali, and they had two children, which we know as Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein. And in Shia Islam, we feel that Hassan and Hussein are the ones who started the lineage from Imam Ali. So let's go a little bit into the caliphs, just to link everything. I'm going to very quickly link that up. So there's 4 caliphs that in the Muslim world after the Prophet. The first one was Abu Bakr, then Umar, and then Uthman, and then the last 4th one is Ali, which is where we see the lineage to the grandson Hussein. So Imam Ali was the son-in-law of the Prophet. So let's want to explain a little bit of history here a little bit. So after Imam Ali, or the Caliph Ali, dies, during the time of Umar and Uthman, Muawiyah, which is known as, he was the, at the time, he was the one who was the governor of Syria. And he wanted to take in more power, and he built his power throughout the time when these caliphs also ruled. And by the time that Imam Ali took the caliphate, Muawiyah had become really powerful and strong. Now remember, they're all still Muslims, right? So, and Muawiyah led with politics and power and was not known to be an ethical leader, but had an army base and a power base. So when Imam Hassan, so after Imam Ali, Imam Hassan took that in, and Imam Hassan made a treaty with Muawiyah that he would not appoint a successor. So let me sort of give you a play-by-play here. So why was Imam Hussein, the grandson of the Prophet, killed? So after the 4th Caliphate, Imam Ali, or Caliph, was assassinated in 1661. There was a vacuum of power, and that led to Muawiyah assuming the role as a caliph. He wanted to be a caliph, and that's what he just assumed that role. And then Imam Hassan made a treaty with him to keep the peace, get an agreement that Muawiyah would not appoint a successor because it was not a good leader. He was not following the tenets of Islam. So Imam Hassan was then killed by poison by, they say, through Muawiyah's connections. And then that's when Imam Hussein took on the duties and the tasks. The treaty that he had signed, that Imam Hassan had signed when Muawiyah was breached, when Muawiyah then named his son Yazid as his successor in 680. And Yazid spread his power through corruption, bribery, and the use of violence. He demanded allegiance from Hussein to legitimize his role. And despite opposition from many part of the Muslims who wanted Imam Hassan and Hussein to lead, he was just spreading his power through violence and intimidation. And then Imam Hussein refused allegiance, as Yazid was openly corrupt and known to be brutal. And that's where Imam Hussein's sacrifice starts. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a picture. This is a picture of Imam Hussein going with his family and his friends, and so it's a group of 72 people, and this picture shows him taking them and leaving Medina. So Hussein lived in Medina, Yazid lived in Syria. So that's where they lived. So Hussein heard that Yazid was planning an assassination. So he left Medina to go to Makkah, which is known to be a sanctuary in Islam. And as you know, that Prophet Ibrahim built the house of God there too, right? So that's where the connections are too. So whilst in Makkah, he found out that they were still trying to get to him. So and he received a bunch of letters from what's known today as Iraq, that the people in Iraq would support him if he were to come to Iraq. So he decided, he took his family and migrated towards Iraq. And you see his thing, he went from Medina to Makkah, and then he's on his way to Kufa, which is Iraq, and Karbala. That's where that is located. He had 72 members in his caravan, similar to what this picture is maybe displaying. The caravan, they stopped in what is known and camped what is known as Karbala, which you can see up at the top over there. So this is the area that they stopped. And I want to share with you what happened here. But before I go on, I want to tell you about an act of compassion that Imam Hussein displayed, despite knowing that he may be killed by the people who are coming. And as he was camping in Karbala, Yazid's army started to trickle in. And this is started from what we know as Muharram, the 5th of Muharram. And this act of compassion might be something that will help you to understand what Imam Hussein was like. So, a group of from Yazid's army, the first group that came in, which was horses and some soldiers. So they came in, and they needed water desperately. And where they camped in Karbala, which was next close to the river of Euphrates. And at that time, Imam Hussein had full access to that water. So when the soldiers came, and they really needed nourishment and water. And despite knowing that these men were part of the force that was sent to kill him, Imam Hussein noticed that their animals were exhausted and dying of thirst. So instead of turning them away, know that he knew these people may be the ones that killed him. And despite that, he personally ensured that every horse was given water. He even helped remove their saddles so they could rest more comfortably. He did this knowing full well that these same horses would soon charge against him and his family. So this act wasn't just kindness, it was a profound statement from Imam Hussein, was teaching that compassion should never be conditional. Even in the face of betrayal and violence, humanity must not be lost. So I wanted to share this story to tell you about what he stood for and what kind of a leader he was, because there's a lot of lessons that we can learn from that. Here's a little bit about what happened in what we know today as the 10th of Muharram, Ashura. And they, as the Yazid's army came in, this is 72 people versus they say it was up to 3,000, 5,000, 30,000. So there's a different variations of how many were in that army. They stopped water from Hussein's family from the 7th of Muharram. Remember, this was the same person that nourished them when they came, right? And they stopped thirsty. So on the night before the battle, and basically Yazid wanted his allegiance, and Imam Hussein said that he would never give allegiance to someone like him. That was an unjust leader. The night before the battle, Imam Hussein turned off the lights in his camp completely. And he told his companions that they were free to leave and that nobody would know that they would left. But nobody left. Knowing what their fate might be, nobody left. So on the Muharram Ashura 10th, which is tomorrow, he made a powerful speech. Imam Hussein made a very powerful speech, reminding the opposition that he was still the grandson of the Prophet, and he still wished to leave. In fact, from his speech, one of the commanders in Yazid's camp, who was the one that was nourished by Imam Hussein, left the army and moved to Imam Hussein. And despite knowing that Imam Hussein and his family welcomed him with open arms. Hussein stood firm in his principles, and what followed was a massacre. The entire male side of Hussein was slaughtered, and the women and children were handcuffed, tormented. They were dragged to Damascus. And these women, who were the grandchildren of Prophet Muhammad, were put on display and tormented. So Imam Hussein's life and sacrifice symbolize the timeless struggle for justice, righteousness, and the pursuit of truth. Ashura is the day that many Iranians, Iraqis, and a lot of Muslims around the world commemorate as the day where he sacrificed his life to fight for justice and keep the tenets of Islam alive. So although he was massacred, he may have lost his life, but he won for justice and compassion. So what are the lessons that we learn from this? And this is what this is about. Why do we continue to commemorate him? And it's a renewal. It's, for example, like in Muslims also fast, in Ramadan, that's the renewal of our bodies and our connection to God. This particular renewal is of justice, renewal of your justice, of humanity, of oppression, and fighting against all of these things. That's what he renews for us. And that story renews for us. So he had unwavering determination and the timeless struggle for justice and righteousness in the pursuit of truth. And his stand at Karbala serves as a reminder of the importance of resisting oppression and upholding the principles of justice, even in the face of extreme adversity. And Imam Hussein's legacy continues to inspire millions, and his story will forever remain as an integral part of Islamic history. We have tyrannical leaders today amongst us too. And this is just a way to remind us to stand up for it. And no matter what, we make our voices in whatever way possible. We stand up and forbid evil. We enjoin good. So I'm going to state 7 lessons that are more, I would say, relevant for today. How do we do that from Imam Hussein's lessons? And that's what we speak about when we go to the sermons. We talk about the lessons we've learned, how to stand up for oppression. We lament over losing that. Because for us, it's like losing a family member. And how would you feel if you were to lose a family member? And that's how we connect with Imam Hussein. So stand for truth. That is one of the first lessons. Stand for truth no matter what, even if you are alone. And he knew he was outnumbered. So truth is not determined by numbers. Moral clarity often requires standing alone. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity. Use your voice. Don't stay silent, even if it shakes you. Even the voice is shaky. Stand up. Practice honesty in your relationships and decisions. If you don't take a stand for something, you'll fall for anything. The second, justice is a universal right for everyone. And it transcends religious and cultural boundaries. We are all here from different, parts, and we come together for justice. And that's our universal right. And many important leaders like Gandhi and Mandela drew inspiration from Imam Hussein, and I have some quotes at the end that might help. And it reminds us that justice must be pursued even at great personal cost. Educate yourself and others about systemic injustices today and how to challenge them. Number 3, leadership is a sacred trust. Imam Hussein refused to legitimize Yazid's rule. And leadership is about accountability. It's not a privilege. And the true leaders serve their people. not their own egos. They are for the people. And that's what Imam Hussein stood for. Dignity over compromise. Don't compromise your value for popularity, profit, or comfort. Say no to unethical shortcuts, because sometimes they are shortcuts, right? Even if everyone else is doing it. Live with integrity even when no one is watching. And in today's world of moral compromise, Karbala reminds us to uphold our values even when it is inconvenient for us. Even we may feel discrimination against us for standing up for those things. Sacrifice for a greater cause. The martyrs of Karbala gave their lives to pursue truth and faith. Sacrifice is not just about dying. It's living with purpose that gives you the death that is still remembered 1400 years later, because it is the lesson that it left us with. Whether it's time, comfort, or status, Karbala teaches us to keep what matters most. Support your family, community, faith, your time, energy, and resources for greater purpose. And I love what you guys do today in these forums to bring that together. You are living these values. Mental resilience and grief, use it as your strength. Imam Hussein's sister, Lady Zainab, spoke a powerful speech after the tragedy and turned her grief into advocacy. Karbala knows how trauma can be transformed into social justice and social change. And in the age of mental health crisis, it teaches us resilience and purpose through pain. Share your story to inspire resilience in those going through similar struggles. Let grief deepen your empathy and strengthen your resolve. Use it to empower others and yourself. I love this one, inclusivity and unity, because it's so relevant to this group, right? The companions of Hussein came from diverse backgrounds, young and old, 80-year-olds, children, 6-month-olds. They weren't just one faith. They weren't just only Muslims. There were Christians in his army. There were Jewish people in his army. They were not just made up of Muslims. It wasn't the religion. It's the values that he stood for, that people stood up with him. So it's not about one over the other, right? So Karbala was a coalition of conscious, and it's a model for inclusive movements today. And we see so much of that around, right? Build inclusive communities, embrace people of different backgrounds and beliefs and abilities. Be the person who brings others together, not to divide them. Stand with the marginalized, even if you're not directly affected. Jesus stood for those who were downtrodden and oppressed. It's a similar for Imam Hussein, similar for the Prophet. We hear this consistently in all of our prophets too. Why does it matter? It matters. Principles matter more than power. Leadership is not about power, it's about principle. Faith must be active, not passive, right? It has to be active and shown in your action. And standing alone for truth is better than joining the crowd for comfort. Truth may be outnumbered, but it is never defeated. And we have a social responsibility to humanity. And the sacrifice for justice here that he showed is the highest form of worship. And in every age, there is a Yazid, right? And in every heart, there must be a Hussein. And even today, his sacrifice galvanizes a movement of resistance against oppressive regimes and encourages people to question authority and stand up against justice. His example continues to inspire millions, fostering a sense of empathy, compassion, and social responsibility. Here are some of the quotes that are taken. He's more than a figure in history. Many religions, faith across nations talk about him and mention him. So with that, I hope that was educational, and I want to just pray together quickly for the oppressed, for the downtrodden, for the sick, for the hungry children of Palestine, for those facing calamities, big or small, those with mental health challenges, those seeking courage to stand up against injustice, those fighting the internal struggle. Let us pray for unity and inclusiveness in the world, for strength to fight against the tyrants and the Yazidis of today. And for those in this program, let us pray together today to be participating in remembering and commemorating Imam Hussein. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Siddika. That was so beautiful. We usually do a question and answer session at the end of our service. So we'll have one more song from Bruce and Cheryl, and then we'll move into a closing prayer and then do question and answer, if that's okay with you.
Thank you. Yes, of course. I'll just stop sharing here.
Great. And so I'll turn it over to you, Bruce and Cheryl, for our final song. Thank you for the beautiful music. And now please join me in our closing prayer. May we all learn from the life and the lessons of Hussein to show up in the world with strength and courage, to speak the truth, to stand for justice, to hold compassion in our hearts, not just for those we love and cherish, but even for those who we don't know, who might be very different from us. Help us to welcome inclusivity and unity, and to join others together rather than divide them apart. May it be so.